Hello, everyone. A very good evening. We welcome you all to the Cooperage Stadium, where we have two teams all set to duke it out for the latest round of I League 2. This is a clash between GMSC and Neroca Football Club. Of course, Neroca hunting for that all important opening victory. This is their first away game of the season. The last couple of games, they've drawn one and they have lost one against another Goan team. And that is Sporting Club Goa. A late strike conceded in the 91st minute is what led to them being stripped of 2 points rather. What could have been a draw, what could have been the spoils shared. Today's match officials, Ajay Singh, Yuvraj Anantari, and Yashwan Narayan Gaunkar will be the assistant referees, and Jamal Mohammed, the fourth official. And at the other end, GMSC, they have been doing a phenomenal job. Tejesh Chandrakant Shah, the match commissioner for the day. That's how GMSC lines up. Padamjeet Singh Vishwa Singh under the sticks. Satar Ansari, Umesh Ramesh, their captain. Ashish Lalge, Dion Menezes, Kiran Pandhare, Shravan Shetty, Arif Sheikh, Tanmoy Ghosh, Arvind Raj Rajan, and Keen Lewis, the experienced campaigner. Well, apologies, they weren't from Goa. They're from Mumbai. So, sincere apologies on that. On the bench, they've got Pratham, Palash Barbar, Advait Ashok Shinde, Shivam Kiran Pednikar, Kamran Atik Ansari, Bhagiraj Tanwani, Meet Anil Adikar, Shamir Babu Swami, Mohammad Irshad, and Kamlesh Sanatan. That's how Naroka lines up. Of course, under the sticks, Pratik Kumar Singh was also their captain. Rohit Mutain today not starting. Pritam Kumar Singh, Yumnam Surchandra, Aloysius, David Singh today in the starting 11. On the bench, Rohit Matei, Sanathoi, Leshram, Telim Suranjit Singh, Koiram Jackson Singh, Amarjeet, Shivajit, Kishan, Lanchan Kiddo, and Arup Kapuria. Well, it's a matter of moments before we get rolling out here in the Cooperage Stadium. Of course, you can see the turf glistening out in not exactly the setting sun, but again, it can also be a very taxing outing for the players, considering the fact that they'll have to find their way throughout these 90 minutes. Because again, when you're playing on an artificial turf, it starts draining, sapping the players overwhelmingly. So after a certain point in time, things look really tricky. Well, if we take a look at the points table right now, Delhi Football Club, they are in the top of the points table. Played 3-1-2 and just one draw, which came against Naroka in the first game. And at the other end, GMSC, they've played two so far. This is their third game. Still looking for that all important win, just that one draw and the defeat. And of course, the goal difference not really in their favor, -1 in Naroka as well, nearby. One draw and the defeat, kind of somewhat similar. We're all set for the ball to roll out here in the Cooperage Stadium. It's going to be intriguing. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams deliver out under the pump. The GMSC, of course, this is their first rodeo in I League 2. And if they can prove a point out here, if they can show what they are made of, if they are ready for the test which comes their way, then maybe and just maybe they'll be going all guns blazing, hoping to make the cut for the all important Star Cement IFL, which is also going on right now simultaneously. Game week 8 will be beginning tomorrow. So, yes, Indian football is having plenty of actions. The Indian Super League, Star Cement IFL, and definitely I League 2 as well going on. I League IWL as well will be returning shortly with its second phase of action. So, if you are an Indian football fan, it simply doesn't get better than this for you. Right then, the wait continues. The referee has got his eyes on the ticker. Quite a few changes today for Neroca FC. Quite obviously, Rohit Matei, Sanatoy as well, Surunjit Singh, Amarjeet Singh, Shivajit Singh, all of them put to the bench, which is a bit of a staggering call. But yes, a few names which should have been there in the first place have found a place in the starting 11, one of them being Horam. And we're underway here at the Cooperage Stadium. Attacking on your frame from the right to the left, in their signature orange, are the visitors, Neroca FC. And on your frame from the left to the right, in their signature red and white, it's GMSC. A team that's trying to make their presence felt across the top tier footballing levels of India, against a team that's been around for a while now, against a team that knows how to navigate the treacherous cross currents and
अरे
the
बैटरी लेवल
level
कर
of high
भाई.
competition. Well, GMSC, a few short balls, Athar Ansari taking on from the right. Kind of difficult to figure out to spot the players exactly from these angles.
वो आहे.
A bit of a back header, comfortably taken care of by Shravan Shetty, trying to knock it forward. Neroka controlling that without any fuss whatsoever, and eventually headed away.
फीड येते. फीड येते का? यस माझं बरोबर आहे. केले केले.
Bit of a scramble out there in the far left.
हा ना.
GMSC trying to figure out. Ball eventually finds its way to Athar.
केले केले केले
Athar
केले.
with that crossfield ball headed away to safety. This can be one of those openings here. Arunchki does well to win the ball, trying to lay it off for Aloysius. He'll have to cover the distance.
बोल बोल.
Eventually, the ball goes away from Aloysius, miles away, in fact. Not much that he could have done, but decent work by Naroka. That's exactly the kind of opening that they were looking forward
ओके.
to. GMSC not willing to take any risk,
अरे माझी गांड लागली असती थांब जरा.
hammers it out of the park. A little bit of a tweak and turn there. Naroka pushed away onto the far right. Here they come trying to cut in. There was a fine ball and the action
हा
goes
एक
out of
मिनिट
the
आहे
frame.
मी
So
पाणी
basically, you
घेतो.
have to wait for the action to return to the frame and figure out what's exactly happened. 3 minutes. Yeah, looks like it goes out for a goal kick. Pratik has taken care of it.
बरोबर आहे.
Naroka making little ripples out there from the right, eventually hammered away. Still 0-0 here at the Cooperage Stadium. That's a lovely ball forward, trying to tussle for it. Can be one of those openings, laying the minus. The shot taken, blocked away as well. That was a decent run there. This is where Neroca, they can be absolutely menacing. The way they come forward, the way they kind of intensify those attacks. And at the other end, GMSC as well. Small runs, and here's an opening for Neroca. A little flicker around from Arunchki. And the shot hammering the woodwork. What an opening at both ends. That's quality football now. Both the sides probing each other, both the sides leaving each other absolutely rattled. Just a few moments ago, GMSC, they had their fair share. Lovely run from the right, but eventually Neroca diffusing it. And then a shot from distance. Only could manage the woodwork, hit the woodwork with that. Slightly shorter corner taken. Once again pushed away, a gentle flick towards the far side, cushioning it, is it? No, goes for the header all by himself. Hits the side netting, the ball goes out of the park. That's the first real spell of action so far we've seen today. Both the teams going strong, and a bit of an injury concern as well for the goalkeeper of GMSC.
काय बोलते? हाँ हाँ.
The first 6 minutes in, as things stand, it's goalless right now in the Cooperage Stadium. Just a few moments ago, the Orange Brigade did well to come up with possibly one of the best chances so far of the evening, trying to take a hit from range, missing out its mark, fairly close. But then once again, as they say, that until and unless you're crossing the line, no matter what you do, it's not going to be going your way. But here, Neroca once again, David Singh, a little twist and turn, trying to find its way through. And easily cleared enough by GMSC. Eventually, another one of those long hits, trying to find one of their own with that long ball, but eventually doesn't really get the hit right. Nonetheless, wins a throw in. A bit of a backhand, and Neroca does well to take care of it. And now GMSC trying their luck from range, knocking it out of the park there. A bit more intent, maybe a bit more coordinated football if you can expect from the side, hailing all the way from Mumbai. Once again, going up toe to toe against a powerhouse like Neroca, you'd expect something going your way as well. At least the starting minutes, the wee minutes of the game. Maybe if you can mount a bit more coordinated, a bit more well orchestrated attack, might just start opening up those chinks that Neroca has so far exhibited throughout the tournament in the first two games. A few changes to the Neroca side, and the referee says, keep the ball rolling, please. You're trying to go flat on that one, just eludes Aloysius along the way. David, a bit of a heavy touch on the ball. Eventually, after a couple of knocks around the park, the ball goes out for a throw in. That's a decent bit of interception there from Neroca. That's another sliding tackle, but definitely not by the books. Right in front of the referee's eyes. Another one of those decent balls by Neroca, comfortably headed away. The first 10 minutes, we've seen Neroca come close once. GMSC so far dealing with the long balls. They've been slightly intermittent, to be honest, in terms of those attacks coming in. This might be one of those chances. Nicely chested down by Rajan. But again, no risk taken there. Pushed all the way back to Pratik, and Pratik eventually recycles it forward, hoping for Neroca to find some momentum. They have some space out there from the right. They've got options as well. Arriving out in the center, a little bit of a speed burst. Looked like a shot was there. Not really sure where the shot went. Yeah, it's got to be a goal kick. GMSC not able to find that opening once again, trying to crack things up from the left, hoping to get the right ball, but comfortably headed away, almost storming forward. And this is where Naroka's strength lies. They hold their shape brilliantly, and GMSC will need some composure and a better quality of passes as well in order to try and stretch things up. Of course, the idea was to try and find David. David does get the ball eventually in the second attempt, but eventually pummels it out of the park. It's another goal kick for GMSC. Time and time again, as things stand, it's been more of a back and forth game so far. Neroca, the dominant side, the predominant of the two. GMSC at the other end, of course, trying to figure out something, figure out ways to get back at the Orange Brigade. Another one of those moves here from Neroca. Locius on the ball. Locius was looking to get that little outside touch altogether so that he could open up the shooting lane, but eventually denied. Nicely chested down. And that's a brilliant bit of interception. Working hard, putting their bodies along the line. GMSC knows it very well. Every single time they can diffuse one of those Neroca maneuvers, it's really going to be good. David wins it. David takes the shot from range. A sensational save on that occasion there. That's what you really want to see over and over again. Paramjeet Singh, a little flight out there, and ensured the fact that once again Neroca doesn't have a freebie going their way. That was a decent effort there from David Singh.
माझा बरोबर आहे.
But Paramjeet, apologies, coming up with that crucial hand to the ball there. That's the first set piece of the day, the first corner for Neroca. This is going to be whipped in by Haram. Bit of a melee in the box. One along the carpet. Another gentle flick up into the box there. Nicely repelled away, and the resultant shot parked out of the ground. Another one of those attacks of Neroca goes down the drain. Athar on the ball. The number of long balls are now starting to become a lot more, coming all the way from GMSC, because we'll have to understand one thing for sure is that long balls eventually might not be their strong suit, especially against a compact defense like Neroca. Aloysius, a little push from behind. A few questions as well asked. It was a grand start to the tournament for MYJ GMSC. They were up against SC Bengaluru, a 3-all draw. Kiran Pandare, Arvind Rajarajan, and Ashish Lalge were the ones who found the back of the net for them. And Neroca in that first round came back from behind to eke out a 1-all draw. That's a decent move. Cutting in sharply, might be fancying the shot. A little clip out there. Referee says it's not going to be a foul. And straight away, Neroca now trying to hit back on a counter-offensive. Aloysius on the ball. Aloysius still going on the drive. Again, taking too long to release the ball. That's the difference that happens. You got to know when to let the ball go. And then after that 3-all draw in the first game, GMSC, they were humbled by United Sports in the second game. It was a home game for them, Cooperage Stadium, and they just couldn't find a way around United Sports. And now here is their opportunity to try and force things around against Neroca. Once again, this is their fortress, and Neroca has arrived here, so they'll have to make it look like that the Orange Brigade are definitely not welcome here. They'll have to play that football where all the team comes together, the entirety of the team comes together, trying to push back the Orange Brigade. But so far, the visitors have definitely looked a lot more comfortable than the hosts. Had it not been for the woodwork, had it not been for a couple of fluffed chances, the scoreline could have been entirely different.
बोल काय बोलतोय काय बोलतोय
Well, right then, we are back again in action after that little hold up because of that injury concern. Aloysius trying to push it back. That's a wonderful way to snatch the ball and now push forward. This can be one of those openings that GMSC were so desperately looking forward to. There's a decent run forward from Arif Sheikh. And that's going to be the first free kick of the afternoon for GMSC. A chance maybe to try and probe their luck from the range. Does well to flick it forward in the box there. And now wins the corner after the free kick. There was an incredible ball, definitely the kind of distance that was out there. It's kind of tough. It was kind of tough to try and scale that. What he did was came in with that vicious curl towards the end. It's the header not really finding its mark as well. But here's another chance for GMSC. Can they make the most of this one? They've got quite a few tall players in the box, in the melee. A bit of a botched up header, and David Singh eventually taking care of the lines there, steering it out of the park. Now the push towards the far right does well, brilliantly done. In fact, he did the first part, the hard part right, took the ball away, but then somehow lost his footing. Now this is one of the challenges, especially when you're playing on a synthetic turf. The ball tends to bounce a little more. Controlling it can be a lot more difficult than on a natural turf. It's because of that extra element of bounce. It's because of that extra bit of skidding factor as well. It takes the ball away from you. So as a player, you possibly need to give it a split second more before you move in, before you start with the navigations and the little tweaks of the body. Good to see that fans have turned up. Definitely not in plenty in spades, but then the handful of fans that have turned up, of course, on a Thursday afternoon, but they are enjoying the game out here. And they will be hoping that GMSC gets to leave their mark, gets to leave an indelible mark on the echelons of Indian football. And on the very first rodeo, dish out what can be an impressive performance for the seasons, also what can be an inspiring performance for the upcoming seasons. So far, Neroca still calling the shots and doing so emphatically, at least in terms of the stats out here. David now switching to the right. Of course, started in his favorable left position. That's a wonderful ball. Can be trouble. Nicely controlled. Cutting in. Goes for the shot at the near post. Woodwork again. That's the second time now. Neroca has been denied by the woodwork. And finally, GMSC manages to scramble the ball away. Everybody coming together, more like forging a melee. And eventually does the hard work of flushing out the danger lines. Oh, this could have been trouble out there. This is exactly where Neroca, they're very, very deadly. Because they can commit those numbers forward. In the defense of GMSC, it's extremely shaky and wobbly right now. Every time Neroca launches that attack, every time they start committing numbers, the defense of GMSC are being exposed. This is where maybe, and just maybe, the Orange Brigade will have to try and stretch out the defense. Like get those wingers into play. Try and open things up, because if you're trying to come all the way through the center, then things are going to be slightly easy for GMSC. They'll be expecting that, but the moment the defense starts getting stretched out, the moment the pressure starts coming out on the wingers, how do they react? How do they respond? But Neroca, they'll be definitely happy with how things have gone so far, but they'll also be hoping that they get the all-important goal, because they know what's the result of missing out chances. They saw it in the last game against Sporting Club de Goa. Conceded in the 91st minute, had actually decent amount of chances, and once again, a bit of a mispass there. GMSC, they'll have to return empty-handed from that one. Should have done better, should have understood. Most likely, a bit of a miscommunication. Ashish Lalke just moving forward, bit into an overdrive there. And Ashish trying to win the ball. Decent bit of body shielding. Ashish on the ball again. A little push forward. Nice bit of connection. And here they come, knocking it forward. A chance again. That was a lovely movement by GMSC. Wonderful link-up football. Decent through ball as well. Prateek coming out of his line. Another lovely cross. And again, the header should have been flattened, drilled into the back of the net. Most likely, in fact, that was still an offside trap. So even if it would have gone in, it wouldn't have counted. And it is an offside trap. The assistant referee raising the flag. But that's better, a lot better from GMSC. That's what you want to see from a side of their caliber, from a side of their capability. But now this game, it's opening up. And it's starting to look like both the teams, they've got intent in their sails. Both the teams have got some momentum going in. And they'll be hoping to make the most of it. They'll be hoping to maximize that as much as possible. A decent quality work there. Almost flipping in there. Good switch now. GMSC starting to build that little bit of momentum. You would expect a slightly better runs from their two wingers, but at least now that midfield that was fairly reticent, it has got a bit more chalk on their boots. And Neroca, this is where they'll have to be careful. A side that has had 3 goals in the first game, that to their first game in I League 2. This tells you that they are not here to play around. They are here with intent. They are here to try and confront their opposition, and especially Neroca after that defeat in the last game. The spirit in the camp will definitely be deflated. Quality work there, trying to figure out how to get the ball to the right, and that's another incredible run. Could have been one of those openings. Arvind Rajan got a goal in the first game, did come knocking on the doors. But now Neroca, before they could take the ball, move forward. Referee's already blown the whistle. Another free kick here. Another one of those free kicks. Keane Lewis, one of the seasoned campaigners in Indian football, has been around for a long time. Has been a part of significant clubs. Has played in the Indian Football League before as well. One of the top names in and around Mumbai. Knows the game well. And his presence out there in the defensive third will definitely serve as a beacon of guidance for GMSC. Neroca, that could have been a wonderful bit of run out there.
अरे ही पण बॅटरी
That
गेली.
little flicker towards the right almost opened things up. But then quickly realizing that stopping that could have been challenging, came up with a foul, resulting in a free kick and a very good position to have a free kick from.
आली परत फीड. मला बॅटरी दिसत नाहीये.
Another one of those set pieces here for Neroca Football Club. Is this how they can get their noses ahead? Got a two-man wall ahead. Keane Lewis, of course, in that wall alongside Arvind Raj. One along the carpet there, trying to lay it off. Goes for the second post. The idea was right. The execution, however, all over the place. The ball going out of the park for another goal kick.
सार्थकडे मोठे
GMSC, they'll be breathing a massive sigh of reprieve there. Time and time again, Neroca coming forward in numbers, in spades, in tandem as well. And you need to be better with those passes there, especially as a goalkeeper in these areas. You lose the ball, you start inviting trouble onto yourselves. You're almost summoning pressure onto yourself, which is so not needed, and that to unnecessary mistakes, unnecessary pressure. Keane Lewis from the left. Keane doesn't really get forward the kind of spacing that he was looking forward to try and play the ball behind the lines. And goes all the way back to the GMSC defense. Now that's an incredible ball forward. But once again, kind of stranded out. Almost knocks the ball down for his teammate in the box, and an attempt from range. That ball's definitely headed to the skies, out of the park and out of sight as well. Half an hour gone. The first half an hour, of course, Neroca still continues to call the shots, but again, when it comes to goal, GMSC has done a decent job of keeping the ball away from that goal of theirs. Of course, twice the woodwork helped them out, and that's exactly what Neroca will try and change. Once again, even against Sporting Club the Goa, they played a decent brand of football, just couldn't find the net, and eventually paid the price towards the end. Against Delhi FC in the second half, the kind of football that the Orange Brigade played, that was really impressive. And just as we reach the 30th minute mark, we'll have a drinks break coming in.
माझी एक बॅटरी 58 आहे ती चालते. माझी फीड आली.
Intense discussions going on between the coaches Vijit Sudhakar Shetty, apologies, Vijit Sudhakar Shetty leading the lines for GMSC, and of course the experienced Gift Rekhan. He's the man taking care of Neroca. Right then, final 14 minutes of the first half coming up. How exactly will it pan out? Is there some late drama which we might witness? Once again, doing the hard work, taking the ball almost to the left now there. Preetham Kumar Singh played into the trap that was laid ahead of him, went on to hit the ball at the defender standing right in front of him. A good bit of clearance, knocked out of the park. The tussle for the ball goes on. Aloysius, a little push on him, but done well there to take the ball away. Arunjki trying to get the header away. Back with Aloysius. And David eventually not able to get hold of the ball. Kane Lewis comes up with another decent ball, but then that has been repelled away, and straight away Neroca now might just have some space. A little tuck from the back. Referee says that's not a foul, but Aloysius does win the ball here. Aloysius trying to go for that second post again. Maybe put a bit more zip on the ball. Just not going his way. Would have been a better opportunity if he could have just curled it a bit more, or maybe latched onto the ball, waited for one of his teammates to arrive. But that wasn't the case. That's a good bit of movement as well from GMSC towards the second post. Wonderful header. The opener comes in. The deadlock has been rattled, and it's Arif Sheikh who gets their noses ahead against the turn of the play. You can hear the fans. They are delighted. And GMSC, despite being kept under the wheels in the first half, eventually gets to flap their wings, and they do so in style. Arif Sheikh with a tap in from point blank range, but what a lovely bit of teamwork again. Wonderful ball floated in from the left, a little cushion back into the stride of Arif, and Arif absolutely unmarked, unchallenged in the 6-yard box. That's more like criminal defending, but then that attack happened so quick. Neroca couldn't even get the time to bring their players back. And once again, you don't take your chances, you pay the price. It's as simple as that. That's exactly what's happened with Neroca. Almost 3 to 4 attacks that could have been categorical goal-bound moves, and they somehow managed to squander it all away. This is where finishing gets so important. This is where finding the target gets so important. Another one of those opportunities, openings for GMSC, but this time Prateek does well to come out of his line and eventually collect the ball, putting an end to what was another one of those marauding attacks altogether from GMSC. And now with the goal, GMSC, they might look like a side completely different. Bit of a facelift as well, with a bit of a uplifted confidence. You can see them coming for their opposition. And now you can see the quality of passing, the understanding between the players. It's also starting to look a lot better. Aloysius knocking it forward, and they're losing the ball way too easily. Now this is possibly, is it somewhere when Neroca is missing out the services of Shibajit Singh, of Suranjit as well? You bring in the changes, but that so far, despite the fact that it had its initial impact, it's kind of losing its sting. And now GMSC, they are all over the Orange Brigade. They'll have to do some catching up here, Neroca. They'll have to find that goal at the earliest if they are to remain alive in this contest. And more importantly, if there's a chance that comes their way, you got to put it to bed. Another good ball, decent layoff as well. Sanatoi cutting in. Took a bit too long, and Aloysius eventually blasts it over. Once again, another opening and another opening being plonked out of the park, and done so in a very ordinary manner.
2 मिनिटं मला टाकू नको, जरा पाणी पिऊ दे बेंचवर.
Now Neroca coming on from the left. Sana hammers it straight at the defense there. This is where Neroca has to be better, particularly in the final third. Maybe just get those passes right, get those last minute releases right. Another one of those crosses into the box there. Keen Lewis comes to the deliverance. Good bit of work out there by Arif Sheikh, the man who opened the scoring for GMSC. Helping his team out whensoever needed, dropping deep as well. And Neroca suddenly feels like they're not able to find a way through. Possession still remains largely in favor of Neroca. Another one of those hits from distance, chasing it down, decently done. The ball won comfortably enough by Shravan Shetty. But that wasn't the best of clearances that you would see. Going out of the park for a throw in. Well, with every succeeding minute, GMSC has definitely looked better in terms of the interception, a bit of confidence as well coming into their sails. And this is what goals do to you. It kind of acts as a catalyst. Aloysius unable to get the ball away from him, but does well. Finds one of his teammates. A little clip again from the back, but that is definitely by the books, which kind of allows GMSC get a hold of the ball. Arif Sheikh. That's a miss pass, and that's from fairly close quarters. Arunchki on the run from the right. David, in fact, pulls it back. A little twist and turn. Back to David again. Couple of step overs in the box. Takes the shot on the turn. Slightly on the higher side. Out of the park again. 41 minutes. Done and dusted. The end of the first 41 minutes. GMSC has managed to find that all-important opening. Arif Sheikh tapping home from point-blank range. Too easy for him. Wonderful bit of layoff as well. Almost 3 to 4 players trying to stop it along the way. Trying to stop him in his tracks, but just doesn't get the hit right. Another free kick, and from a very good juncture as well. Maybe one of those openings that they'll be looking forward to. It's going to be Keane Lewis again to try and deliver the ball. A former Mondragon player. Knocks it towards the far side. Decent work by Prateek Singh coming out of his line and eventually fisting it away. Another one of those hits forward, just doesn't get it right. A little flicker forward. And after appeals at all ends, it's Neroca who's got the throw in. And going up almost against a couple of defenders, back to David Singh. David plays it back. With ball in the box and a diving header as well to get it away. Just what you would love to see if you're a fan of GMSC, the kind of intensity that they're putting in. Keen Lewis, close enough. Lewis knocks it forward. Nice bit of drag back to Lewis again. Lewis does well to lay it off. And a shot from range into the skies. Few more seconds remaining. And Aloysius does well. Aloysius with the cross, at least trying to come up with the cross. Bangs it straight at the defender just ahead of him. And a shot at the second post. A lovely bit of headed interception. Going out of the park for a corner here. Neroca. Is there some late twist at the end of the first half? Neroca is all set to possibly try and launch one of those scoring corners. Maybe one that will eventually get them the all important equalizer. Into the traffic, and another fine save there. Crucial hand coming in from Paramjeet. In fact, looked like it was the crosspiece and not Paramjeet's hand that denied Neroca what should have been a good enough chance. Time and time again, Neroca, no matter how hard they have tried, they are just not able to crack the code. They are just not able to get those hits right. You need better ways to come close enough to the goal. All the way back to the goalkeeper. Paramjeet has been decent so far. And also has some good support as well from his defense. Of course, there were the initial lapses where the woodwork came to his deliverance. But since then, he's looked good. He's looked solid. And Neroca, here they come again from the right. Trying to get the cross. A little deflection along the way. Another corner conceded. Time and time again, Neroca, they keep on coming. But where's that final bit of precision that can get them the all-important goal? Or else all this hard work, all this diligence kind of being blown away. It's not that Neroca has been fairly reticent. They have looked good. They have looked threatening. Once again, along the carpet there. Lovely bit of outside dodge. Does well, twisting, turning on the ball there. Is there a little lob coming in? Wonderful ball, and again taken too hastily on that occasion, imparting unwanted, unnecessary elevation to the ball. And again, a sigh of reprieve for a GMSC. And that's going to be the end of the first half. And at the end of the first half, as things stand, GMSC, they have a slender lead in their favor, 1-0. Arif Sheikh scoring the only goal of the half so far and the only goal of the game as well. With that being said, we'll take a short breather and be back with the second half of the contest. Stay tuned, everyone. Hello, everyone. We are back for the second half of the contest, and as things stand, it's 1-0 in favor of GMSC. The second half, of course, goes without saying for Neroca. It's more like to try and find out what should be their best way forward. They've had plenty of chances even towards the end of that first half. They looked really good. Once again, they're up against a side that's got fairly experienced names, the likes of Shravan Shetty, Keen Lewis as well. We are underway here at the Cooperate Stadium for the second half of the contest, and on your frame, kicking from the left to the right in their signature orange, it's Neroca Football Club, and on your frame, kicking from the right to the left in their red and whites, it's GMSC. No changes yet. It's the same starting 11 that got on the pitch in the first 45 minutes. Neroca, of course, will try and continue what they have been doing, bringing in the attacks, using the wings to their advantage. Maybe just get a bit more precision on the ball while they're knocking on the doors. Maybe just come up with a bit of controlled passes instead of fluffing out the lines from distance. At the other end, GMSC, they'll be looking desperately for an insurance goal. A bit of an entanglement of boots out there. A couple of bodies toppling along that line. Referee blowing the whistle. Arif Sheikh in the hunt of possibly another goal. He's the one who got his name on the score sheet thanks to an excellent bit of cushioning done by his teammate. That's one of those lovely balls forward. Nicely taken care of. Hammered out of the park as well. Neroca, decent job done, keeping the ball under control. Switching it all the way to the center. Another one of those knocks forward. The idea was right to try and find an advancing Sana, but intercepted just before. Good work by the defense of GMSC. And that's the kind of alertness that you will want. That's the kind of situational awareness that you will want. Lovely bit of a back flick. And now Keen Lewis almost out there winning the ball. What could have been a dangerous area to try and win it. Neroca once again resorting to a long ball straight away. These long balls haven't really helped them out. GMSC kind of nullifying them with consummate ease. Good shuffle from the left to the right. Once again, when it comes to keeping the ball possession, Neroca definitely have been the favourites. But despite keeping the ball a lot more with them, when it comes to getting those progressive passes in play, when it comes to getting those defense splitting passes in play, that somehow has been very rare in number. And even when they have got it, somehow or the other, Neroca has managed to squander away an opportunity or two. Nicely chested down through the center. Lovely bit of turn. The turn, not just for the first time, even for the second turn was there. Almost managed to take the ball away from GMSC. But once again, lovely bit of work out there on the right. Neroca does well to intercede and eventually push back for a counter-offensive of their own, trying to use the right wing. So Faba Singh does a decent bit of work, but eventually it'll go all the way back to the goalkeeper. Not the best of clearances. He has put it straight back to the opposition. Lovely exchange of passes altogether. Knocking it forward, good bit of layoff as well. Goes on with the shot and eventually a block just ahead of the goal line. Keen Lewis trading it away for a throw-in. Didn't want to take any chance whatsoever with the corner. That's good bit of defending altogether from GMSC. But Neroca, they'll be happy with the start that they've got in the second half. In fact, despite that run from Keane Lewis, was not able to nullify the corner. So another one of those set pieces floated in into the traffic, and once again denied. Neroca starting to amplify the pressure a lot more. But the final touch, it came off a Neroca player. And it's a goal kick off for GMSC. GMSC, they're realizing one thing for sure, that the attacks are just starting to increase. The intensity is now being upped by the Orange Brigade. A little trip out there, but nonetheless, referee says that's fair and square. Keane Lewis from the left, cutting in, comes up with the cross towards the far side. Trying to cushion it down. Wonderfully brought down as well. Trouble again. Goal number 2. Neroca completely outplayed now. The insurance goal that they were hunting for. Aravind Rajan gets it. Point blank range. Wonderful bit of teamwork. And Neroca almost scrambling, clawing in thin air. No response, no riposte whatsoever. Again, brilliantly done by Keane Lewis. The way he took the ball forward. You can see the smiles on the fans' faces. Just tells you how delighted, how happy they are. The last 2 games, Neroca, they conceded 1 goal apiece. And here they are, already conceded a couple. And now they'll possibly try and look back to all the chances that they have wasted. And how they might just come back to bite them. And bite them badly enough. That's a confirmation, Aravind Rajan with that second goal. And Keane Lewis with the lovely bit of groundwork that was laid in position for the goal there. And nicely done again. Neroca now on the hunt. Desperate to try and reduce the deficit. Trying to play catch up. Good layoff and a shot from range. Another brilliant save altogether from Paramjeet. Throwing his body to the right on that occasion. That's not the first time now Paramjeet has denied Neroca what could have been a fine strike from range. That's the second time basically. Strong hands, lovely bit of reflex altogether from Paramjeet, and he needs a bit of treatment going in. A little treatment being dished out. Looks okay. Paramjeet, time and time again, coming to the deliverance of GMSC. Quality work so far under the sticks. Again, back for them here. Of course, Neroca, they know that the onus is on them to try and get the goals. That's a loose bit of concession. Good ball into the center, but for whom? Where were the runners? Shibaji definitely didn't really look like he was anywhere close to the ball. And Keane Lewis again has got some space on the left. Couple of step overs. Does well to lay it off again. In an emergency clearance, Keane Lewis time and time again from the left. The kind of balls that he's knocked forward. It's starting to threaten the defensive solidity of Neroca. It doesn't really look like they are equipped to deal with deliveries like that. Well, that's a good bit of flicker forward. Nicely dealt with by Neroca Football Club. Right now, they are tilting at the windmills. Goals feel like a myth to them. At the other end, GMSC confident. The way they are performing, that's brilliant. And if you get forward passes of that stature, the goals will continue to elude them. Another chance wasted, another attack blown apart only by the sheer mediocrity, only by the sheer agricultural weight on the ball. 2-0 down, you will need a lot more than that. You will need precision. It's as simple as that. You don't have precision, you're heading into a very uncanny road from where recovering would be extremely difficult, and especially if you are in the shoes of Neroca. You've drawn one, you've lost one. Another defeat might just make the road ahead extremely treacherous. And now Neroca again trying to knock it forward. Sana nonetheless wins the ball. A little push towards the right, dragging it back. Wonderful bit of ball control. Goes on for the drive, sticking to the ball. One versus three. Where is the support? Support finally comes in. It felt like went and jammed against the cul-de-sac, and Keen Lewis with a lovely bit of sliding clearance there. Throw in for Neroca. Sana. Sana goes on, guarded altogether, but the ball still stays with Sana. Good bit of delivery as well, but eventually, once again, in that final third from where danger could have been there, that never really looked like it was coming. Another one of those enterprises from distance, who's all the way to Paramjeet Baghel. An easy gathering for him at the end of the day. He's been tested thoroughly, and he's so far come up with flying colours. Keen Lewis, another gentle little flick, trying to chest it down. Slightly away from him, but nonetheless does well. Rajan finds Keen Lewis again. And a good switch towards the far right. Wonderfully controlled. Brilliant first touch! And just inches away from scoring the third. That could very well have been the final nail in the coffin for Neroca. Lovely bit of work from the right. Lovely reception. And a brilliant fire as well. Unfortunately, just couldn't hit the target again. Neroca, it feels like they have been jolted not just to a rude awakening, but they have been jolted to one of their nightmares coming alive. The way GMSC, they keep on coming over and over again. The Orange Brigade, the visitors, they hardly have any retaliation. They've completely lost the plot. They're hardly getting hold of the ball. And even when they're stringing 2 to 3 passes together, it's ending up with a very miffed effort of trying to play the ball forward. A lovely knockout there. Keen Lewis accelerating, does well to win the ball, keep it in play. Scanning the perimeter for more resources. Delivers another cross there, eludes everyone. And once again, emergency clearance at the expense of a corner. Ashish Lalge was just around. So, of course, didn't want to take any risk. Never really knew where Ashish was. And thereby Neroca pushing the panic button at the earliest. This has turned into more of a slaughterhouse altogether for the visitors. They are hardly getting anything that's going their way. On the contrary, they are being shoehorned into a corner that they'll really like to break free from. But at this point in time, there's no hint of emancipation. At this point in time, it's all about GMSC calling the shots and doing so without any remorse whatsoever. Keen Lewis with the corner, slightly flattered on that one. David Singh does well to knock it out of the park, to knock it out of the danger zones. Apologies. Shivajit, rather. And Pratik this time gets hold of the ball that was played by Ashish in front, eventually rolling it back to his own teammates. This is a major challenge for Neroca. Even if they come or even if they turn things around from here, when you're playing catch on back to back occasions, it becomes very difficult. And you've got to start converting chances. That's exactly why Shibajit has been brought into the attack.
अरे ते हे
And
बॉल
Amarjeet as well
थांब थांब थांब.
coming on for Neroca. The changes that was being brought on in the first half hasn't really worked out so far for Naroka, and that is one of the reasons two of their most seasoned campaigners,
डन डन
Shibajit and
कर
Amarjeet,
कर.
they have been introduced. David does well. David goes on in the box. Still David, and wonderful bit of clearance altogether from GMSC. It was a very persistent show altogether. They were not very so easily, and they do a decent job of keeping the ball away from harm's way. After that brief hold up, we resume action again. Away from Keen Lewis on that. That's a good ball for Naroka, trying to break free, trying to get into that box out there, but eventually not with a cross like that. And now Keen gets hold of the ball. Arif Sheikh as well. Arif trying to go all by himself.
हे झालंय परत लूज
Falls
झालंय.
back for Shibajit.
मला ऑफ कर मला ऑफ कर.
Shibajit pushing it to the right. Sapava. Amarjeet playing it forward. Lil twist and turn. Does well to stick to the ball there, Haram. But Haram, while he was trying to get past Keen Lewis, couldn't really break free, couldn't really get the right touch on the ball, thereby leading to the foul. Paramjeet urging his players to move forward. Once again, GMSC on the move forward, on the break, hoping to break things down, hoping to find that opening again. Because if they find that third goal here, this game can very well be done and dusted. There's no coming back for Naroka FC from there. And Paramjeet possibly urging his players, it's all right, let it slide. The more the ball's played out, it's more like walking into the strengths of GMSC here. And Neroca will definitely not want that. A little scrappy, a little physical out there. And Neroca now trying to play it towards the far right again. A wonderful bit of work there. Wonderful bit of interception coming in from Dion Menezes. Back to Keen Lewis. Dion Menezes is another one of those experienced players for GMSC. Nice bit of work. Good passing through the center. And they keep on coming forward. This can be one of those chances. Lovely ball to the right. Wonderful cross again. Testing it down. Keen failing to capitalize. Almost coming straight at Keen Lewis. Had it been a little more, had there been a little more wobble, would have been easy for Keen Lewis to try and head it. Unfortunately, he was struck out there. And now Neroca kind of oscillating from one end to the other this game. But the intent has mainly come from GMSC. Neroca, they have done well to sail those balls in front. But when it comes about results, they haven't been there. Not just results, it's also about precision as well. And a good bit of work there. Wonderful ball in the box. Sana laying it off. A chance maybe. And that is another botched shot. This time the man culpable for the same is Shibajit Singh. What a brilliant opportunity once again in the box almost. In fact, it was Amarjeet who couldn't get the shot on target. And this has been the case. It goes on and on and on. A flurry, an array of mischances for Neroca. This has been a tale of woes, a tale of profligacy. And as expected, the scoreline still remains 2-0 for GMSC. Slightly heated tempers out there. The stretcher has been asked to come out. So the best of scenes most likely was out of the collision that happened. We'll try and show you in the replay. A change here made by GMSC. Mohammad Arshad has been introduced into the mix. Neroca now, can they double up that pressure that they are trying to create? Fine bit of work, dragging it back. GMSC, they are relentless in terms of that defensive reinforcements. Fighting hard, ensuring the fact that they are not letting anything through. They are willing to put their bodies on the line if needed.
सन खाली आलाय रे बाबा.
Sana on the ball. Sana flickering it forward, nicely headed away as well. Another one of those long throws. Tonked forward, good bit of clearance there from Keen Lewis. Falling back for GMSC. Back with Keen again. Pummeled forward, but this time missing out the mark completely. Goes out for a throw in. Back for Neroca. Definitely now, Neroca, they are looking good, at least in terms of that intent that you would love to see from them. But when it comes to penetration, when it comes to eventually breaking down what has been a solid show from GMSC in the defensive third, especially in that second half, that goes on and on and on. And Naroka more like chasing shadows, more like
White game.
looking for desperate options.
Ramesh Paramba, replaced by number 73, Palash Barber.
Wonderfully brought down here. Naroka does well to lay it off, trying to find that shooting space, doesn't get so. Good maintaining of that structure there, of that defensive line that was created by GMSC in the first place. Another shot from range again, trying to come up with a bit of a dummy or maybe a heel flick to try and change the direction of the ball, but goes straight into the hands of Paramjeet again.
अरे सन खाली आलाय मी नाही वरती गेलोय.
Naroka definitely calling the shots in terms of ball possession for now, but that's not enough to try and challenge GMSC. GMSC might be sensing that's brilliantly done again, but that little second touch that eventually forced the nutmeg. It took the ball away from the player, but that was definitely artistry of the highest order. Once again, they're doing everything right until now here, the Orange Brigade, the visitors, except for that final pass, except for that decisive final touch that can get them back in the game. Shivajit knocks it forward. A little turn as well from the right. Sana does well to drag it back. A little trip, which should be a free kick here for Naroka, and it is. Just trying to cut in, trying to get that shooting space open, hoping to whammy at the near post maybe. Or possibly just to try and knit one of those balls forward. But it wasn't the case. And here's an opening, here's a chance again. A free kick for Neroca FC. They've got Shivajit in the mix. He can take those long rangers. In fact, the most experienced one to do so. They've got Amarjeet, we reckon, as well. Shivajit moves away. It's going to be Amarjeet himself. Amarjeet launches that flat at the wall. And GMSC does well to nullify the entire attack. Amarjeet dropping deep again. Will have to rush at the earliest. But for now, there's a bit of a hold up because of the player who's taken the blow, gone down in the box, and will need some treatment as well.
मला 2 सेकंद ऑनवर नको ठेवा थांब. अरे बॉल कुठे?
Right, then we resume action, and straight away with a lovely ball in the box. Good layoff. And this should have been the opening again. And this has been the perennial problem for Neroca. Time and time again, coming all the way into the opposition box, but from the 6-yard box, from just outside of it, they have gifted away those chances. And GMSC Despite the warning signs, somehow or the other, they continue to sustain themselves. Neroca, again, a bit of space out there. Amarjeet knocking it forward for Sana. Can Sana eventually get there? No, not really. Wonderful bit of work altogether. Lovely bit of covering as well. Atar Ansari has been busy. Good pushback. Stays on the ball, Sana. A little inside, a little outside. Sana does well. Too late off for Amarjeet. Amarjeet to Shivajit. Shivajit can knock it from range, but eventually decides to go in with a diagonal ball. Finds his teammate, who's forced to drag it back. Gentle flicker towards the far side. It eludes everyone in the process, goes out of the park. 75 minutes in, and GMSC still in the driver's seat, stationed and cemented for now. And the drinks break before we get into the final 15 minutes. This game has been fairly fluid, almost being dictated and dominated by Neroca in terms of attacking, in terms of bringing the ball into the opposition half. The only problem is the goals that eventually win you the game. That goals have come from GMSC, and two very good team goals, one would say. Nothing lucky about it. Wonderful bit of collection, wonderful bit of passing as well. And Keen Lewis, obviously the big man, continuing to be the sentinel of the GMSC backline. And so far, he's been successful. We resume once again after the drinks break. Is there some league twist still remaining? Can Naroka somehow manage to find a way? Two goals again, not really an easy difference to try and plug. You got to try till the very end. Wonderful bit of work out there. Good release for the player on the far left. Can he get the ball anywhere close enough? Neroka deciding to go with those short passes. Now the ball in the box, headed away. And Keen Lewis does well. Clears it away without any problem whatsoever. Back for Neroca. Tonks it downtown. Away from David. And again, a phenomenal bit of clearance as well. No chance whatsoever. Dion Menezes coming up with that clearance there. Crucial one. And now Safaba trying to contend with Keen Lewis. Fails to do so once again. Almost changing the game from the left to the right and taking that all-important route to go all the way, almost close enough to the half line, thereby giving a bit more time to GMSC. But Neroca, they do well to intercept, to win the ball back and knock forward.
काय करू अरे काय करू
That's going to be a free kick very quickly taken by Pratik. He knows the urgency, he understands the urgency and the hunger as well to try and score. Safaba on the ball. Back to Safaba. Safaba with the cross in the box. Headed away. Neroca still fighting hard. Still doing everything possible. But is that going to be enough? And it's going to be a corner out here for the Orange Brigade. Decent work. All set to hammer the corner in extremely flat corners like this. It won't go ahead and plant any chaos whatsoever. And too easy as well for GMSC to call the shots. Neroca, they will need to come up with a lot more penetrating power whatsoever. There's hardly any for now. David on the ball again. David curling it towards the far side. Repelled away. Back with Neroca. Another fine knock forward. But GMSC, they had it covered. Neroca, desperate now to try and find that opening goal, which they should be. But that desperation isn't really coming to fruition when it comes to coming close enough. Safaba finds Amarjeet. Amarjeet with that little turn as well. Amarjeet through the center. Will he go for the shot himself? He does! And there was a bit of a dip on the ball as well, but not enough to trouble Paramjeet under the sticks. He was going to see it sail over. GMSC now, can they find that all important opening for the third goal? After a long time, they have ventured out of their own half. Neroca were completely calling the shots without any mercy. But then again, none of it would matter until they cross that goal line, until they reach where they should. Because apart from that, GMSC, 2 goals to good. They had the lead in their favor. Trying to find the ball forward, not to be. They see the ball go away, miles away, in fact. And this is a welcome sight for GMSC. The farther the ball is from their own half, it's only making their life a lot more easier. Another free kick out here from Neroca FC. Still hunting for that late twist in the game.
Samir Babu
Every
from
minute that goes by feels like a ticking bomb for the visitors out here in Cooperage. Good release onto the right. And now driving through the center with intent. But eventually doesn't really find the space that he was looking forward to. They go in all the way from the left, hoping to lay that cross. Lovely bit of penetration into the box there. But again, GMSC standing strong and denying any space whatsoever. And that's going to be a free kick just outside the box, which will be a welcome reprieve altogether. Is that an opening for Neroca? Can this be the beginning of something incredible? A late twist in the game. You never know. After all the dominance that they have knitted together, can they get that goal that they have been so desperately hunting for? It's going to be the big man. There comes the free kick once again. A very good header as well. Shibajit Singh just couldn't hit the target. And another corner here for Neroca. Decent bit of work there by Paramjeet, keeping Neroca alive in the hunt as much as possible. Once again taken along the carpet. Not that these variations, they have worked much in the favor of the Orange Brigade. Still going on, trying to find alternatives. One of those, of course, those long rangers, and the ball with that little deflection. Got a bit of height on it. Nicely chesting it down. Plays it towards that far side. Cleared away. It's more like fragmented defense, but that's working out for GMSC. They are coming close. They have the 2 goals. And it's just about keeping Neroca at bay for as longer as possible. Every minute that goes by,
Substitution for Neroca FC, number 66, Oinem Malinga Mete, replaced by number 2, Vaikom Rohit Lutu.
they go through the center, drive in with intent, playing it to the far left as well. Parried away easily enough. Lovely bit of twist as well. Neroca now, David Singh on the ball. David trying to cut in 1 versus 2. The numbers game always will catch up to you. But eventually does well to release the ball as well. David. And again, a very good clearance there. A desperate one, but it works. It absolutely works for now. It's all about getting the ball away from harm's way. Clear the danger lines. Do not let the ball anywhere come cross by if you are right now in the boots of GMSC. The first I-League 2 victory is what they can censor out. And the first goal has arrived. The deficit has been reduced by Neroca. So eventually the corner, that works out. And now maybe, and just maybe, there can be a late twist again. That was a goal. That was a shot that hit the woodwork miles ago. That's not the replay of the goal whatsoever that we are talking about. Just a few moments ago, Neroca, they have finally managed to get something up that repertoire of theirs. GMSC holding on as much as possible. But can they eventually hold it out till the very end? This is where Neroca is deadly. You give the ball outside the box, and they will threaten a lot more. A lot A very improved performance in the second half, but the major problem of not able to find the net, of not able to get those right passes in the final third, is what has bothered them, and it continues to bother them. And here comes Neroca, coordinated, well orchestrated, will be a free kick in their favor. They look like they will go all the distance. They will fight it out. Possibly around 4 to 5 minutes of additional time. Not too many stoppages in the game apart from the drinks break. And because of that, we can just go to that 5 minute mark or maybe a minute more as well. I'll have to confirm how many minutes have been added on. Floats it towards the goal. Wonderful collection there by Paramjeet. Easy enough at the end of it all, but then definitely there was an element of surprise as the ball sliced through the air. Now GMSC twisting and turning. The referee says possession stays with Neroca.
Referee has indicated 5 minutes of
And a
play
little swish to the left.
additional time, a minimum of
David
5 minutes added on.
trying to lay it off. Does well. Cutting in. Another attempt from range, but then Paramjeet, he'll see it sail over. No problems whatsoever. 91 minutes already on the ticker. And now the deficit is down to the very last of it. Just that one goal so far. Can somehow Neroca manage to salvage a point and deny GMSC their first win? Once again, propelled forward, chesting it down. Quickly controlled, Neroca, they'll have to come up with urgency. There's no more holding back. Maybe launch the ball into the box as well. They decide to go along the carpet. The cross eventually comes in, but a bit too easy at the end of it all. And GMSC, here they come. Too easily dispossessed. Another free kick in favor of Neroca. They're getting those all right. Quickly taken. Didn't want to waste any more time. Back to David. But David was absolutely not in control. Nonetheless, gets the ball for his teammate. And now a bit of movement from the left. Can they eventually get the ball into a position from where you can get something dangerous going? Not to be. A corner nonetheless. And it's from a corner that Neroca has managed to pull one back. Now can this corner give them the all-important second goal, the all-important equalizer that they are hunting for now? That's a corner wasted. Another set piece wasted. Quickly taken. A bit of a backheader, trouble brewing, a bit of a botched up clearance, and eventually the shot which should have been kept down by Safaba Singh. He shot it for the Stars and makes a hash of affairs. Bit of an injury concern there for the goal scorer, Arvind Raj Rajan. The stretchers out as well, but he just walks up and he's gonna walk out of the park. That's what Naroka is trying to say. Amarjeet's trying to tell the referee, if you're fit enough to walk out of the park, maybe just get some time going. But nonetheless, that's game management. And hammered downtown, just a bit of a header along the way. And that's what GMSC would absolutely enjoy. See the ball sail out. GMSC, can they put this game to bed with a strike of their own? A 1 versus 3 still does well to stick to the ball, eventually dragging it back, but Neroca, they've got the defense in position. Quickly rushing back. And now possibly hoping to threaten that equalizer. Can they come up with something of class, something completely out of the blue? They're staying in, hanging in by the skin of their teeth. Another long ball in the box, headed away. Neroca wins it. David wins it. David lets it off. And then eventually a very poor pass, a misdirected pass, taking it away. And that will be the final whistle. What a historic moment this is for GMSC, registering their first win of I-League 2. 2-1 is the scoreline, and Neroca once again denied. The fans are absolutely delighted. Strikes from Arvind Raj Rajan and Arif Sheikh has ensured that the 3 points will be going to GMSC. And Neroca, 3 matches down now. Just that 1 draw, 2 defeats. This is heartbreak for them. So many chances, so much of dominance in the second half, and yet only that 1 goal that they could manage. They were being slowly, eventually, gradually played out of this game. It's really good to see fans turning up in numbers out here. A Thursday afternoon, but nonetheless, your favorite team's playing. You got to turn up to the stadium, and that's how you got to do it. And at the end of 90 minutes, the full-time scoreline, GMSC 2, Neroca Football Club 1. There's another game coming up from 8 p.m. Do not forget to tune in into the official YouTube channel of Indian Football. Thank you, everyone.